Jackson was looking the way of Randolph. Pressure coming. Jackson scrambling, now fires toward the back of the end zone. Randolph goes up and pulls it in. Touchdown, DeAndre Randolph.
Pass is complete for the touchdown.
Welcome in the Deseret News Rewind. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann Associates, brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard and outfitted by Black Clover.
Yeah, that's right, Dusty. And hey, don't want you to forget, right? Opportunity coming up for some holidays and some celebrations. A lot of gift giving. There's no better gift than giving friends, family, whomever, gear from Black Clover. Go to blackcloverusa.com. Check out the full lineup, men's and women's gear. They also have hats, folks, polos, outer gear. I wore a collegiate hat this week, one of my favorite college teams, and I even got some compliments on what a nice looking hat it was. It fits me great. Check out blackcloverusa.com. Use the promo code DNR20 to get 20% off your order from Black Clover.
Yeah, someone had a joke. I posted a picture in a Black Clover sweatshirt on Twitter. You can go check that one out. Product placement is one of the hashtags. It came from Vines Francis. I don't know who that was. Anyway, we'll get right into the show today. But playoffs are here. Yep. Let's go to the opening statement brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. If you have any legal needs whatsoever, you get business set up, get a will and trust set up. By the way, flat rates for wills and trusts. They don't charge you by the hour. A flat rate. They'll do what they need to until it's right. But go visit our friends at Heidemann Associates at www.utah.law. And Dane, when we look at the state tournament getting here, we're doing bracketologies for 4A, 5A, 6A, but 3A and 2A is where we want to spend time talking about who we believe will come out the champions in 3A and 2A. Yeah,
gonna be interesting, Dusty. And we look at this 2A bracket, and things shaping up kind of interesting. No real upsets in the first round of 2A. Had obviously a bye for Beaver. They're the team that I think is going to be really, really tough to deal with. Had some nice close games. Rich had a valiant effort, but to me, when you look at 2A, Dusty, it's Beaver, and then there's a big separation with the rest of the classification. Duchesne's going to have something to say about that. Kanab is going to have a tough second round game. There's going to be a lot of games worth watching, but right now it feels like everyone's looking up at the blue and white of the Beavers.
Yeah, I mean, Beaver is 2A.
Where have I heard that before?
We're going the way back machine. Don't go that far back last week. Yeah. But Beaver is that team. I mean, and when you look at 2A, it is who's the team that's going to give them who's in a battle to get there with them. And not necessarily, I don't think it's to beat them. I think it's the battle to get to them. And that being Duchesne, Kanab, Milford had a big win today against Monticello, which sets up a second round game with Kanab. Be very, very interesting to watch what happens there, because those are the most competitive games because Beaver's so dominant.
Yeah, they are. And, it was interesting. I actually had this note all ready to go last week, and I just forgot to note it. In week 10, Beaver only put up 35 points. It's a season low, 5 touchdowns. That's their season low. Good luck. I mean, this is Beaver's classification. And the thing that's scary to me about Beavers, last year they were predominantly a run team. They've had more balance this year. They can attack you through the air, on the ground. EJ Alvarez had a great year this year. Number of Beaver players we could talk about. But, I mean, to me, if I have to pick a champion, put on my forecast hat, it's Beaver.
Yeah. So you're going with Beaver 2A champion?
Oh, yeah.
I'm Beaver 2A champion, too.
Yeah.
And for the sake of just not seeming, because we don't disparage at all on this show. We're very, very positive.
Yeah.
And for the sake of maybe running into that, I don't want to say, hey, let's go who gets against them, because I don't think that's fair to them either. But we'll go, both of us, Beaver 2A champion.
Yeah.
3A, we're going to get into this a little bit more. One of the teams that thought at the beginning of the year and throughout the season we thought would make a run to the 3A championship. Spoiler alert for later in the show. Yeah. Not going to be North St. Pete. North St. Pete was the semifinals last year. No Landon Bulls. No trip to the semis this year.
Yeah, an upset, Dusty, and had a halftime lead and couldn't hold on. Talked about a sophomore quarterback there, kind of earning his wings a little bit. And, that Delta team, really good. But the thing that it does is it sends notice out to the rest of 3A, right? You better come prepared, because if you don't, any given night, you might have yourself a bit of an upset. There were other games in 3A we'll talk about as the show goes on that reiterated that message. None of the favorites fall. The dreaded 5-12 seed ended up biting North Sanpete this year. But Dusty, we've got some other great second round matchup, quarterfinal matchups, potential semifinal matchups. And I think this 3A classification going to be really fun. Juab obviously had the only team with the first round bye.
Yep.
Morgan looked really good on Friday night. I mean, there's a lot of teams. I think, to me, this feels like Juab's probably the team, but I think that separation, like we talked about in 2A, probably isn't quite as big as it is in 3A. It's not as big as it is in 2A.
No, absolutely, because I think there's some teams that have something to say about it. Well, one, for Juab, they get to play San Juan this week. San Juan's nothing you sneeze at.
They had a great game Friday night.
Richfield is really good.
Yeah.
And then Morgan is playing great,
Yes, they are.
their best football. Summit Academy, they're hot and they're cold, they're up and they're down, they're in and they're out.
Yeah.
What song lyric is that from? But we have to figure out where they are. But there are 3 teams right now that, honestly, in my mind, it feels like a coin flip.
Yeah, it really is. And that's what I mean, right? You know, that Grantsville Summit Academy matchup, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but yeah, Grantsville won that pretty handily in the regular season. I think Summit Academy is going to be ready for that go-around number 2, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at, a game like Morgan Juan Diego. This is a different Juan Diego team. Now, I don't know that means that Juan Diego beats Morgan, although Morgan, you better come prepared because that Juan Diego rushing attack, it's going right now. Things are looking really good. Lewis and company running the ball extremely efficiently for the Soaring Eagle. And then, of course, you have Juab. And having a week off, what does that look like? This San Juan team has been impressive, Dusty, and they continue to impress. And look, this was not an easy game against Manti, and San Juan takes care of business. So there's a lot of teams in here. I think you're going to have some close games as the tournament goes on. Going to be really fun to watch.
You're 3A champion.
How come I have to go first?
Fine, I'll go first.
All right. I know where you're going.
Juab.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Wasps.
Yeah.
They bit me last year. Not going to bite me this year. I'm this close to going Morgan, but I'll go with Juab.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's kind of the team that I look at. But you know what? For the sake of content, I'll take Morgan. I got some confidence in Morgan. This is a team that great run last year. This year, that offense, Dusty, they're scoring like not a lot of teams in 3. I'll go Trojans.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I won't say soured me with them. I just saw them not play their best ones against best teams. It's starting to come around.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, Dusty, we're not playing Snow Canyon, okay? Or Bear River. All right, I got you. I understand. All right, let's get to our game of the week. Dane, you were there. Hunter and Westlake. We did this one because the last time a non-Kearns team from Region 2 won a playoff game, it was Hunter hosting a Region 4 team.
Well, Hunter won in the first round last year.
Oh, right.
Against Copper Hills.
That's right.
Yep. But I think the point is still, fair to be made. This Hunter these two teams played in week 3, Dusty. And there's a Hunter team that got in the red zone 8 times in that game. Only came away with, 13 points, 14 points in the contest. So they felt like there was an opportunity for them to, playing much better late in the year to maybe try to put in their best game against a team from Region 4. And, this game started off, Dusty, and everything looked good for Hunter. Westlake gets the ball, and you have a high snap, sets up a short field. Hunter takes over inside the 20 in the red zone. But that Westlake defense stalls them, have to settle for a field goal. It's 3-0 for Hunter. Hunter would get the ball back again, and Dusty, a costly fumble here that Spencer Hamuli able to pick up. The scoop and score would take this 45 yards and put Westlake on the board 7-3. Still in the first quarter, another interception, and this is one that, Harding just didn't see. Cooper Cowan with the pick 6. It's 14-3 for Westlake. Start of the second quarter, Dusty, and this Hunter team, the turnover bug continued to bite him. 2 more interceptions thrown in this second quarter, but the one impressive one, how about a 4th down here? The punter electing to try to convert on a 4th and 10, and look at that pick. My goodness, one-handed stab out of the air, intercepted by Westlake. That Hunter defense continued to stand on its head. It did not allow much from this Westlake offense. And then, late in the half, how about this? A double pass, Jackson to Swasty from 30 yards out, the first touchdown of the game for Hunter. They're right back in this thing, 14-10 with 1:16 left to go in the half. Hey, just got to finish off the first half, right? Right. Braden Perry, he knows how to finish. A 93-yard kickoff return, taking it to the house with a minute to go. 21-10 for the Thunder. Just for good note, last-second interception to close out the first half, thrown by Hunter. That was their 5th turnover of the ball game. Third quarter, these two sides stalemated. We skip ahead to the 4th. Harding to Jordan Miller, a 35-yard touchdown pass. That's creativity. 21-17. Here come the Wolverines. Next possession for Hunter, the 6th turnover of the ball game, the 5th interception thrown, and it would set up a short field for Westlake that Canyon Lee able to finish 28-17, the advantage for Westlake. Hunter, effective, moving the ball down the field. Josh Harding, a 5-yard touchdown run, pulling Hunter back to within 5. They're going to go for 2 here. Boy, that Westlake defense just swallowed him up. Absolutely no prayer. The onside kick here for Hunter. Close. Westlake recovers, and Canyon Lee, just for good measure, a 54-yard touchdown run as the Westlake Thunder, Dusty. How about this? If I told you you were going to have 6 turnovers and it's a 1-possession ball game with 2 minutes to go, 5 interceptions thrown, 4 in the first half. Westlake didn't get an offensive touchdown till about 5 minutes left to go in the ball game, and they move on 35-23. Westlake, the defense, look, they were plucking things all over all night long. Got a couple defensive touchdowns, a special teams touchdowns, and the Thunder defeat Hunter for the 2nd time this year.
Congratulations to Westlake moving on in the state tournament. Let's get to our best of 6A. And Dane, since you went there, I'll go first. And interesting when you look at 6A, what we were going to see in this first round of the state tournament, all the buys and different things. Riverton beat Layton. And one reason I'm picking this one, we know Layton beat Weber, if you didn't know that. Layton beat Weber in the year. But it's not just that they beat them. It was the fact that in all their scores, not one guy scored twice. The quarterback did account for 2 touchdowns passing, but it was not... He did not have multiple touchdowns. Andrew Mangum had a pass from Caleb Hamblin. Caleb Hamblin ran in for 2 yards. Jackson Bennett had a 1-yard catch for Caleb Hamblin. Turville, the kicker, got involved. Dylan Turville made a 29-yard field goal. Braden Woodruff had an 8-yard run. And then not only that, does not be outdone, the defense got a safety as well. Big win for Riverton, getting a 33-14 win against Layton, their first win since beating Bingham.
That's balance right there, huh? Congratulations, Riverton. Hey, one of us has to represent Region 2. We took it on the chops a little bit in our schedule video this week with Region 2, but don't worry, we got an opportunity to share some Region 2 love here. How about a team that got their first playoff win since 2011, the West Panthers? Look, I know it was Jordan. It's been a tough year for Jordan, but Clarence Bird Butler had 3 rushing touchdowns and a 95-yard kickoff return. That actually happened first. It was the way the game started off for Clarence Bird Butler. 4 total touchdowns for the senior, and the first playoff win for the Panthers in almost a decade. Congratulations to West in a 49-14 victory over Jordan.
Best of 5A. I'll talk about this one because I was there. This game started out great for Alta. Jaramillo got in for a 30-yard touchdown. Anson Jaramillo got in for that touchdown. And then after that, look, this game looked like it was Farmington's. Alta's moving the ball down the field. Pick 6 for Toon. Oh boy, here we go. Alta's offense gets going, stalls again. Down 9-7, end of the second half. Farmington got a little conservative. Alta used their timeouts, and then it got good. Ethan Jackson rolls out to the near side, hanging on, stays patient. Well, you can stay patient when you got a guy named DeAndre Randolph. He didn't just connect with DeAndre once. He connected with him 3 times for touchdowns. Would have been a 4th one in the beginning of the drive, but it was called back by pass interference. But Ethan Jackson, the reason I'm bringing this one up, got hurt partway through the 3rd quarter, came back on a hobbled ankle, and he was absolutely spectacular. Threw 4 touchdown passes on the night. As I mentioned, DeAndre had a big night as well, as Alta down Farmington 42-23.
Good one. Hey, what have we said all year long? If you play Spanish Fork, it's gonna be close. Well, this one wasn't. First half, it's 27-7 for Spanish Fork. You had Tutagaval with a rushing touchdown, not to be outspoken by Taragaval, who had a receiving touchdown from Morley Bennett, because that's just what we do in playoffs. 27-7, Spanish Fork has this one, right? Nope, you never count out the Highland Rams, Dusty. Isaiah Mahina had 3 rushing touchdowns, gave Highland the lead. The Rams looking like they're going to pull off a big win. And Zach Dart with 1:42 left, the only touchdown for the quarterback today, probably the only time we've said those words all year long,
Right.
Pulls out a victory for Spanish Fork on the road, 33-27. The Dons, a big lead, they forfeit, come back and get the Rams.
The other Dart in the state of Utah. I like that one. We'll talk about that one maybe a little bit later in the show as well. But how about this one go to the best of the rest? Look, I said a couple of weeks ago, at the beginning of the year, North St. Pete, this was not about revenge. It was a reckoning. Well, it looked like it was going to be everything okay for North St. Pete. They jump out to a 13-0 lead, or pardon me, 13-0 lead. That's why extra points are so important.
Yeah.
They are so important because back comes Delta like it's 2002. Austin Topham had a 3-yard run, and with 4:08 left in the game, the unthinkable. Oren Finlinson gets in the end zone for the touchdown as Delta stuns North St. Pete. They played them tough a few weeks ago. This was an old region rival, both from when I was in region. We were in the same region. Hated them both. But either way, but Delta comes back and bites North St. Pete, takes them out 14-13, taking Delta to the way back machine when Delta owned them.
My best of the rest, Dusty, is, how about a game that I was like, wait, is that right? Union almost had the upset of the night, Dusty. It's been a tough year for the Union Cougars. And Boone Latham, he had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. Union had the lead in this one. It took Brown to Robinson with 56 seconds left to deliver a come-from-behind victory for the favored Richfield Wildcats, 17-14. Union, been a tough year. Congratulations on, almost pulling it off. Richfield did what they needed to get a win in a game that was closer than we maybe thought it would be.
Than the experts thought.
Yeah, right.
Closer than the experts thought. All right, let's go to the quick hits brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. You need to make a change in your life, need some help, or if you need to get a college education, the National Guard's there for you.
Yeah, over 150 different career path training options, not just about military service. You might be interested in, mechanics or in nursing, healthcare, whatever. You can get on-the-job training skills through the Utah Army National Guard. You don't have to worry about where am I going to get the experience. They're going to give it to you. Check out nationalguard.com to learn more, as well as how you can earn up to $20,000 in educational assistance from the National Guard.
Well, whenever your team plays really well, Mrs. Nielsen's kids are going to get talked about. How about San Juan scoring 41 points on Manti? Yeah. Cooper Black and Jace Palmer made an appearance on our top 5 plays. Had a big night getting everything done. Cooper Black actually had 2 touchdown catches. Jace Palmer added another one. Manti scored an interesting touchdown being the 4th, but it doesn't matter. 41-27, the win, San Juan over Manti.
We talked about this one a little bit early, Dusty. The Milford men. 59-6 over Monticello. Hardy had 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and Beebe had a rushing touchdown and a fumble that he took to the house in a big win for the Tigers.
Just because you had a tough year doesn't mean you can't play tough in the state tournament. The White Buffalo of Tooele. We said look out for Cedar Valley. This is going to be interesting because the way they played against Park City and some other schools, Tooele was up 14-7 at the end of the first quarter, thinking maybe they were going to upset Cedar Valley. And then Cedar Valley got things figured out. It's taken Hansen, 35-yard touchdown catch from Peyton Weber. Lucas Peck, a 20-yard catch from Vili Mausia. And then Peyton Weber, again, a 13-yard run this time as the Aviators took care of the White Buffalo.
Yeah, impressive win. How about a game that had big plays all over the field? Desert Hills and Mountain Crest, 44-14. But there was a 70-yard touchdown pass to Turnbow, a 70-yard kickoff return by Hendrik Lusk. He also had a 98-yard pick 6 in the closing moments and a 35-yard pick 6 turned in by Wilkins. Big plays lifting the Thunder past the Mustangs.
Who says you can't play back-to-back weeks? But just like the Raiders did to the Broncos in the mid-90s, Ogden took care of Ben Lomond in back-to-back leads. The state's leading rusher, Logan Shobe, Shobe had a 10-yard run. He had a 12-yard run, a 3-yard run, a 4-yard run. Oh, and for good measure, a 55-yard touchdown run as the Tigers down the Scots.
They were down at half, too, 28-7 second half for Ogden and a come-from-behind victory. Logan and Hurricane. And the Grizzlies, Dusty, Cody Kirk, 5 passing touchdowns. Oh, this feels like the good old days of Riley Nelson spreading the ball all over the field. The Grizzlies with a big win.
Against Hurricane, no
Yeah,
less.
right?
My first on-the-field interview. Those were the days. And a game that proves that a regular season matchup does match up to a playoff matchup. Harriman and West Jordan.
Yeah.
Harriman jumped out quickly, up 13-0. West Jordan couldn't quite get back into this one, but he had a lot of things here for Harriman. By the way, Caden Seidel, 2 field goals. Not only that, he had a 10-yard run, a 3-yard run, and a 25-yard field goal on top of it. This was Seidel's game for Harriman.
He scored 27 points by himself.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been more than that because I don't think I counted PATs. Big night. Speaking of big nights, Provo. My goodness, where you been all year? And I don't say that to mock the Dogs. Man, they took care of Mountain Ridge 34-14. They jumped all over the Sentinels. Jace Wells had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Ty Larson had an 80-yard pick 6 as Provo plays maybe their best game of the year at the right time. They get a big first-round win.
Well, they need to show up in one of those because things had just gone not their way. How about Miller taking on North Severe and Jed DeGraffenried, Reed, a 25-yard touchdown run and a 50-yard catch, as well as the 2A's biggest running back, had himself a night.
We talked about Morgan, a big win over South Severe, but the reason why I'm going to bring this ball game up, 58-0, 2 pick 6s, one turned in by Adams, one by Wheeler, and Belinsky had 3 rushing touchdowns. It said, this Morgan offense, not to be trifled with. The Trojans, big in the first round.
Not to be trifled with, Lehigh taking on Viewmont, and it was a huge first half. Lehigh's taking it on the chin in the last little bit, but he had a bunch of guys go off. Takai had, by the way, how about we use all vowels for Lehigh in the first half? Takeshi Falpula, Isaiah Tawai, Takeshi Falpula again. Oh, by Peyton Dieters.
Hey!
Thank goodness he's back in our lives as Lehigh was all over Viewmont getting the win 52-14.
How about Box Elder just doing what Box Elder does? It's Parker Buchanan, Dusty. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, 22-8 over Woods Cross.
Davis took care of Syracuse. You don't go into a whole lot of details in this one. Get another Region 1 win, and it does set up a fun matchup. Here's why I'm doing this. Against Weber in round 2.
Sign me up.
Yeah, it's a good one. And a new segment we have for the playoffs, Dane, with something we've been wanting to do. How about the top defense performance of the week? Brought to you by Kisses Kava.
Dusty, I mean, my defensive performance of the week, what can you say other than Westlake? I mean, the way that defense turned in their performance, forcing 6 turnovers, 2 of those led directly to touchdowns. A lot of them led to extra possessions and short fields. 6 total turnovers forced by Westlake, 5 interceptions, a scoop and score, a pick 6. Westlake, to me, that's the defensive performance of the week.
Yeah, if you want to be able to sleep at your best, let some anxiety down. You don't want to mix kava. It's a Polynesian kind of drink. A lot of guys do it. Just do it in a capsule. Go to kiseskava.com, get the capsule, get all the benefits, 100% kava, get all the anxiety, the way to relax at the end of the day, all natural through Kisses Kava. Well, let's get to the Riley Jensen mental performance of the week. We kind of keep doing this. If you have a lead and things don't go well, that is just life. What do you do next? And not only that, Zach Dart has been the guy for Spanish Fork all season long. He's thrown a bunch of touchdown passes. He's been the man. But you lead 27-7. Blow the lead to Highland. By the way, Corner Canyon did this way back machine. They did this at Highland a few years ago in the quarterfinals. In the year they thought they'd get the semifinals, blew a lead, and Highland beat them. Yeah. It was not going to be that for the Dons. Zach Dart leads them down, gets the touchdown, having to bounce back when you think you've got it all figured out. That's when you find out a lot of times that you don't.
Yep.
And that is our Riley Jensen mental performance of the week. You want to be better in mental performance? Riley Jensen's a great place to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just you that he can help. Hey, he helps Utah State, Weber State, Real Salt Lake with helping them to execute at their best, whether it's in your home, in your career, in the boardroom, on the field. Give Riley Jensen some of your time. It'll be well worth it. He'll help you be your best self. Schedule time with Riley at RileyJensenConsulting.com.
Let's get to our Black Clover looking good performers of the week.
Dusty, you talked about this game already, but I'm going to talk about the individual performance turned in by Jace Palmer in the victory for San Juan. 4 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. No better time to have 6 total touchdowns in a ball game than in the playoffs. Jace Palmer, congratulations. You are my Black Clover looking good player of the week.
Hey, you got a guy that threw 4 touchdown passes? I got a guy that threw 4 touchdown
Hey.
passes. Ethan Jackson coming back off of injury. He missed the season finale for Alta at Timpview. Came back in this one, looked pretty good at the beginning, but he had to get hurt before he really got focused. He threw some dimes, threw 4 touchdown passes, battled through a bad ankle sprain as well, but threw 4 touchdown passes, hooking up with DeAndre Randolph, having himself quite the night. Ethan Jackson, and also threw some passes where guys are right in his mug, took care of business. Ethan Jackson, my Black Clover looking good performer of the week. Go check out the rest of our videos this week. Bracketologies for 4A, 5A, and 6A, because we're doing all those games through the championship. And check out the top 5 plays as well. For Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us and watching Deseret News Rewind on Deseret.com.